But you know what the thing is with Megan Thee Stallion? She's the best woman rapper right now. Like lyrically, she is. It's her and basically the chick from England.
Lil Sims.
That's who else?
I think Nicki raps better than Meg, but that's.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
you think in a rap battle?
Yeah.
Let's do it again. We did it with Gunna.
Yeah, who would win? Who
would win in a rap battle? Welcome back, people. It's Soundbites, the part of the Album Mode podcast where we talk about the music, the culture, and the internet, and how those three things intertwine to create the music culture that we have today. My name is Demar Grant, a.k.a. King Grant, a.k.a. The Bunny, and I'm here with my esteemed co-host, co-creator, Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. Mr. Smiley, a.k.a. The Godfather. Adriel, we have stepped into the vortex that is Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. Beef? This is real beef, though. This is real beef. Well, I don't see people popping off for 3 days on the timeline unless it's real beef.
Well, listen, I'll start there because I don't know that it is real beef. Because if you listen to Hiss, which is the song that Megan put out, her song came out first. Hiss feels like it's mostly at Drake. And that's kind of how I felt at first too. When I first heard it, it didn't feel like it was shot directly at Nikki. I think the Megan Law part of it is really what, kind of set her off.
Yes, it is.
But
Which was bars, by the way.
It's a big bar, but I think this is kind of where Nikki lost before she started, because other than that Megan's Law, I don't know that it was about Nikki the whole song to begin with. And I think that Megan's Law probably applies to way more people than just Nikki.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like...
It could have been a little Diddy diss.
Diddy, Tory Lanez.
Could have been a numerous people.
That could have been a trick too.
Yeah, which is we should say is a problem in hip hop. The fact that it could have just been a shotgun blast and it could have hit like a million different people.
That's a huge problem in the industry. And let me actually spell this out for people, because I'm sure people are getting bits and pieces online, but here at Soundbites, this is where you get the full information. Megan's Law is a federal law in the United States.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Let's go even further back.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start with this. So Megan Thee Stallion released this single called Hiss, right? Which, when you first listen to it, the song is actually just like good, right? Has a little bit of spiciness in it where she basically, again, it wasn't explicit into who that she was dissing. Right, where she said, all this free promo, I'm turning profit. Hate when a nigga be kissing and telling, say he a player, but he in his feelings. But I won't give up the pussy again. Shit should have given to his friend. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's Law. I don't really know what the problem is, but I guarantee y'all don't want to see me start. Bitch, you a pussy, never finna check me. Every chance you get, bet your weak ass won't address me. Bitches swear they G, but they G must sound for goofy. When the fuck did y'all gangsters turn to groupies? Right? And then she goes, I'll give you a little bit, I'll give you to the end of the verse. Everybody want to kick it when you ain't a threat. These niggas don't like me because they know I'm on their neck.
Yes.
So she dropped this Megan's Law that bar particularly tickled a lot of people, and then it seemed like it burned Nicki Minaj to the bone.
Before I go in about the actual law and Nicki, I do think it's interesting that basically the last few Meg releases we've got have been directed at someone. Just wanted to mention that. just want to mention that.
But you know what the thing is with Megan Thee Stallion? She's the best woman rapper right now. Like lyrically, she is. It's her and basically the chick from England.
Lil Sims.
That's who else?
I think Nicki raps better than Meg, but that's.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you think
in a rap battle?
Yeah.
Let's do it again. We did it with Gunna.
Yeah, who would
win in a rap battle?
Well, they're battling now, so I think that's why I don't want to talk about it, because it's unfair. Because they're battling now, and people have other feelings involved.
Okay.
But just the actual art of rapping,
Yeah.
I think Nicki is better than Meg.
Megan Thee Stallion, that's how she started. She was like a battle rapper.
No, for sure. But I love them both, so
Okay.
I don't want to say anything bad about either of them. Megan's Law
Yeah.
is a federal law in the United States that requires law enforcement to make information available to the public regarding sex offenders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Perry, is a registered sex offender after pleading guilty at the age of 16 to attempted rape.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the thing about her brother here, but her brother has also on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this part is interesting because I think the lines after this make it seem like it's more at Nicki.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the problem is, but I guarantee y'all don't want me to start. But this definitely feels like Nicki already was insecure about this and felt a way about this. And then Meg mentioning it, she said, all right, I got this. The one thing that I've been so interested with this whole thing is, because we talked about Meg versus Party when that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like I have a proper grasp on what the timeline is going to decide is wrong or right or bad. And my example has always been, I think it was Drake and Meek Mill, when Meek Mill said that Drake got peed on by T.I. So you sound
What?
That's kind of my point, is that was part of one of the songs.
Uh-huh.
I heard that and I said, who got peed on by who? And I think it was T.I.'s friend, not T.I. directly. It was T.I.'s friend. Okay. But either way.
But it's still crazy clear.
But that was not, and to this day, people don't talk about that as like the bar. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I think people are very selective, or maybe not selective, in terms of what actually is the line that gets a rise out of people. And I do think that I didn't think that these songs were bad when they first came out. Like when I heard Hiss, I was like, okay, sounds cool.
The song is actually, again, the song is like just like straight up as a song is pretty good.
And when I heard Bigfoot, I'm like, Bigfoot's a good song too.
You think Bigfoot is a good song?
Yeah.
No way. You actually think that song is good? Seriously?
How long have we been alive for? Nicki has like 10 other songs like this that everybody loves. So why is Bigfoot all of a sudden not good anymore? Well, that's my issue. That's the thing. Like, Nicki had 10 other songs that sound just like Bigfoot that everyone loves. Right. But now, because it's just why I'm saying I don't know how people are deciding this, because it's like, to me, it sounds like a lot of Nicki Minaj songs that we like. So is it because it's against Meg, the song sucks now? Because when I heard the song independently, I was literally at the gym playing the song while I was stretching, and I was like, this is a song that everyone said sucks? I was like, I don't love the bars, or I don't love what she's saying, you know? I don't love to see two black people go at it, but I was confused. So I'm on that side. I don't think this song actually sucks. I think this is just a matter of, like the Drake getting peed on thing, we're very selective, you know? We choose... Because to me, I think if you show someone this in a vacuum, these two songs, I don't think Bigfoot is a way, way worse song. I think,
here's the situation that I've arrived at when it comes to this beat. First of all, Bigfoot, I think it's like AI generated, like the cover art. Mm-hmm. It looks like it, which I'm not a fan of. But in general, the production style, I feel like wasn't, I don't know, her rapping on that production didn't sound, like, it doesn't sound good to me. Like, I just don't think that it sounded very good. And then when she's like, her lyrics, this little begging whore talking about Megan's Law, for a free beat, you can get Megan raw. If you're a ghostwriter, party in Megan's jaw, right? Shots thrown, but I still ain't get Megan's score. Bad bitch, she's 6 foot. I call her Bigfoot. The bitch fell off, get up on your good foot, sorry. Still ain't topped Red Ruby. Trying to steal the sauce. Get out of my cookbook. I mean, okay. Like, I feel like it's something that, like, Megan Thee Stallion dropped something that was just like, I felt like a nuclear bomb.
You think so?
I feel like because we know the context of it, it actually is larger than it is. I think in the song's context, it's just like whatever, right? But because we know the context, we're like, yo, this was like a serious snipe.
I think
versus, hold on,
I think Nicki made it that.
It doesn't matter who makes it what, as long as it happened. And then when it comes to Nicki Minaj is saying, it's a direct snipe that we all see, but it's like very minor. Like, I feel like it was not like, so what? Like, so what? She got shot in the foot. Like, I don't know. I feel like if somebody's like, hey, your husband and brother is a sex offender, and the person is like, you got shot in the foot. That's like, what? like that's not. I feel like that's not equivalent at all.
To me, Bigfoot felt like charged up. Like if Bigfoot was her charged up, and at the end she does say, let's leave that for a second installment. Like she has more to say. So I think this was like a warning shot, because again, these two songs, and I'm focused more on the music because I think all the stuff is going on online. Even Nikki tweeting like crazy. She's going off. Set a whole separate discussion. But if we're talking about just the music of these two, because this is hip hop history happening in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it is.
This is Meg's second single. I mean, like Meg's two singles for her project have both been songs shooting at people, and I like usually in hip hop, when that's like someone's rollout late, like when Kanye does that, or when Drake has done that, we hate it. So that's why I brought up before. Is like, how are we deciding what's allowed by who? Okay. Because if this was a man doing this and their two singles for the album are just taking shots at people, like when Eminem did it for his last album, we were like, you get my point? Yeah. So it's like, how are we deciding that it's just cool for Meg to do it?
But go ahead.
Yeah, how are we deciding it's cool for Meg to do it when other artists do, we have a problem with it?
Right.
Because Nicki's responding. This is literally Meg's single. Yeah. And so it's like, is this the only way that Meg can like gain attention? And like, I don't think that's true, but it's like, this is probably your most anticipated album you're ever put out, and these are your singles. Yeah. Like, that's weird to me.
Well, Hiss, when it came out, again, I would say Hiss is just like, it was just like a solid song that had that section in it that Nikki made it huge. She made it a big deal.
I don't know about that.
I feel like, I think that part was just like, it was part of the song, right? But again, we said it was like a shotgun blast and it could have hit a million people. And it just so happened that Nicki Minaj...
Nicki said, it's about me.
It's about me. I'm about to go fight you at an award show or some shit over this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So if she didn't say anything, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
You're right about that. I don't think we'd be talking about it because before Nikki started tweeting right away. So I'm going to say before, but before Nikki put out her track and she was getting her tweets off, the rumor or whatever online before it became Meg versus Nikki was, will Drake respond? Right. And a lot of people were saying, a male rapper responding to a female rapper just has a different tone than the other way around. And that goes back to the party thing. Yeah. And so it's like, essentially, this was not at Nikki at all. And Nikki said, "This is about me. I gotta make it about me. Like this is we can't go past without me mentioning that this is." So that part I don't like, and also I think I don't know that everyone knew this about Nikki and her family until this. Exactly. Which that's something that I didn't know that everyone else didn't know. Like this was brought up when Nikki's album came out, and so to me, I thought this was common knowledge. So when she mentioned this on the track, I didn't look at it like Pusha T exposing Adonis or anything. You know what I mean? Like to me, it was like, we all know this. This is common knowledge. Yeah. But I'm learning through this that it wasn't common knowledge, and so I see that as more of like a aha moment for the listener, and I'm seeing that Nikki's kind of getting a lot of hate for that, which is like. It's so interesting because like this was always true the whole time. You know what I mean? Like it was true when you bought the album 2 months ago. Yeah. But I guess now that it's been exposed, quote unquote, you feel differently. So I think that's why everyone's saying Nikki's taking this L. But my question I want to get to you is, can Nikki recover from this? Because the internet has made this be like Nikki is the Meek in this, and Meg is the Drake. Yeah, which I don't know if I agree with all of that, but again, it's not up to me to decide. But do you think Nikki can recover from this? That's my question.
Do I think Nikki can recover from this? I think so. I think she can recover from it mostly because I think that most people are not too like again. Nicki Minaj is a mainstream artist, the mainest of mainstream. Yes. My mom knows who Nicki Minaj is. She has no idea who Nicki Minaj's husband is. Okay, you know what I mean? Doesn't know who Nicki Minaj's brother is. Doesn't know any of this shit, right? And this is not registering on the Richter scale for my mom, my dad. So
you're saying Nikki will be fine?
So I think for people like us, we're like this is not helping the legacy. But for the, let's say, general population, Gen Pop, GP,
She'll be fine.
she's gonna be okay. I think she's gonna be all right.
I agree with you. You know, I don't believe canceling is real, and so when I see everyone online, going crazy, I was like, and this is part of my thing is this is not new information. Like it may be new to some of you for sure, but it's like she just went number one.
Exactly.
With this being true, so I agree with you. It's like I don't think this is going to be the end of Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. For people like us, it's like, ooh, I would say for people like us, for the culture, right? Again, for the culture, the internet, the culture, the music, this is enough. She took enough.
Oh, she did.
she took enough.
Especially when it's like you made it about you. And my thing, and this is kind of why I'm pushing back like against a lot of what's going on the internet, is because Nikki is above responding. That's the real truth. And I've always felt that. Even when Nikki responded to Cardi, whoever it is, I'm like, Nikki, you are above responding.
Yeah.
Just because y'all both, are around the same, whatever, no reason. Nikki is above responding. And it's kind of like Jay-Z. Jay-Z is not responding to every shot taken in every interview. None of that. Jay-Z's like, oh, I'm over here.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Nikki is not moving with that type of energy, that's more what bothers me, because Nikki is the female GOAT.
Yeah.
There's not say a zero chance, but there's almost a zero chance Meg surpasses Meg surpasses Nikki as the greatest female rapper. Like that's really probably never gonna happen. So it's like Nikki should feel that she is above this, but
she's
she
said that she's not. She said that she's not. And then when you get pulled into the mud, don't be surprised when you get dirty.
Okay, let's talk about some real life things here. And I hate to do this, but the stuff that Party said about Meg and Nikki said about Meg.
Yeah.
What would it take for them to say about Meg that we would look at Meg a different way?
That's a great question.
Because I think that there are some things that have been said about Meg that I feel like I've seen other people get ridiculed for. And I get that Meg is a victim of abuse.
Yeah.
In a very public way, so maybe that's why everyone's kind of siding with her. But the liposuction thing I thought was very interesting, because I said there's definitely someone on their mood board with a picture of Meg on it, and they're in the gym 5 times a week, not knowing she has lipo. So it's like, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
The crazy cheating accusations were doubled down from Nikki.
Yep.
Which is like, when it's the other way, like we just saw Ariana Grande get some heat for kind of admitting to being a cheater.
Yeah.
It's like Meg.
A proud one too. She does not care.
You're right. Meg gets a free pass. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there are certain things in there that's like, I'm not going to cancel you for that. I'm not one of those people, but I've seen other people get canceled. So what is the thing that Meg could do that would get her canceled or get any type of flack?
Yeah.
And what do you think the reason is why she just gets a pass on all these things? Because the mom thing to me is the one that bothers me the most, because her and her mom were such a public relationship in terms of how much they loved each other, and her mom passing. Yeah. And so her swearing on her mom is even more like, it's like everyone knows me. I'm super close to my mom. Yeah. It's like me swearing on my mom, and it's like, because everyone knows I'm close to my mom, you're like, okay, you're definitely not lying. Yeah. And I'm using that to my advantage, Yeah. Like, so there's things in there that I'm thinking are a little questionable.
Yeah, I think Megan Thee Stallion currently is just like, she's a sympathetic figure, right? Like her mother, who was basically her inspiration for who she is currently, died, right? And then she was shot in the foot by a dude, and she went through a whole media circus for like 2 years, trying to figure out whether or not, trying to quote unquote figure out whether or not that actually happened, who shot this stupidity. Yes. Right? So in the eyes of most people, she's still a dope MC, right? And she's just doing dope MC stuff, right? She's a person that I would say currently is a sex symbol.
But she gets a pass.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like those things stacked on top of each other. The sympathetic figure. I think she's a sympathetic figure, straight up.
I think that's what it is too. Yeah.
She is a person who is unapologetic, right? But then also went through that traumatic event. So I feel like people sympathize with her. So when she is being like, when she's going after people, right? Like Nicki Minaj, people are like, get her. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like just like the default position right now is like Megan Thee Stallion, we're up.
I think that's gonna turn. I do feel like, especially at least with the internet, the sympathetic figure stuff goes in waves.
Yes,
I
that's
remember 3 months ago when Nikki was talking about her being addicted to pills before her album came out, having some lines about that, and everyone pointing out to her saying, "Oh, like we didn't know you were going through so much. Like we feel so bad for you."
Right.
That is evaporated.
Yes.
You know, that's just gone. And it's like, that's kind of how fast things move on the internet of like, now we're letting Meg get away with anything, but it's like.
But I feel like she hasn't transgressed. Like she hasn't really had a moment where she drove her car into like a water fountain or some shit like that. This is the point
I'm making. Ariana Grande said she was a cheater, you know, whatever it was last month. And lost 300,000 followers for it.
Yeah. But she also has a song called Break Up With Your Boyfriend Because I'm Bored.
Yeah, have you heard Meg's lyrics? Meg has plenty of lyrics of taking people's mans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it has not reflected in real life in the sense that we're like, oh my God.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. With Meg, it's a pass. Because the stuff that Nikki's saying that she did is the same thing Party said she did.
Right.
That's my only thing of like, when Party said it, people were like, oh, he's lying. I didn't think he was lying, but people were like, oh, he's lying. And I'm like, kind of weird thing to lie about, but whatever. Nikki doubling down on those same things. Maybe she just retweeting him. Maybe she just heard the song and said, I got you, retweet. But for Nikki to kind of highlight the same things, how often you see someone get dissed by two different people and they say the same shit?
That's true.
So it's like, again, what will it take? I don't want Meg to be ridiculed. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But I'm just very much noticing that like things that someone else will get canceled for, Meg is not a part of that. And so it's like the mom thing, the cheating.
Her mom is dead though. Like I feel like there's you can only like it's hard to go after somebody but like making fun of their dead relative. No,
not making fun of your dead mom, but they keep mentioning that she keeps like swearing on her mom and then lying on that. Like that's something that I think is a little off.
Yeah, we'll see.
That plus the cheating and then plus the lipo stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so
the lipo, I think that one hurts a little bit more than everything else, just because the body thing.
And that's the thing. Even in that, I've heard a lot of women who I bring that up to, and they go, "Who cares?" And I'm like, Meg is. So it's like, I think Meg has to drop an album in the next week. Like, I think she has to bank it. That's my point. Moral of the story is, I think she has to bank it because I think this is almost nonsensical how much
goodwill that she has.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I understand why it is from what she went through, because I do think that was a very traumatic experience. Even as a viewer, seeing a woman get treated like that in hip hop.
Yeah.
But I think that like, there's other stuff that people who are closer are confirming. People are, you know what I'm saying? So it's like all the other stuff that it's like a rumor for someone else, they lose a bunch of followers. For her, like, so I don't want her to test the limits is my point. You know what I'm saying? Like right now she could do no wrong. She could, you know, but there's a limit, you know? So I think now's the time to capitalize.
Yeah, drop the album.
Meg put the album out. This is the time.
Put the album out and then run away. Just like run away very quickly.
Because that's one thing that I've been thinking about throughout this whole thing. Because I bring up the Drake getting peed on thing. It's like, we have a very selective memory when it comes to these things. And this is the selective memory in the moment. These songs are like a week old. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I heard the song and I just said, nope, I don't care. Yeah.
I think it's also one more, I guess the last thing on this is that Megan Thee Stallion is the leader of the new school. This is new versus old school right now.
That's a whole different podcast.
It's new versus old school.
We got to bench that. We got to bench that conversation.
I don't think so. Well, I think
we got to bench that conversation.
Drake and Nicki Minaj they've been around for 15 years.
But I don't know if Meg is the leader of the new school. She's very popular.
Is her and
very successful.
Is her and Ice Spice right now?
We got to bench this conversation.
I don't
because
who's the leader of women's hip hop right now?
I would say that women are still looking at Cardi and Doja as the leaders. Yeah. And why I still want to bench it is because I don't personally I don't know that many people who are looking at Meg as like she's the when I'm checking for the leader. Like I think Ice Spice has more of that than Meg does. But I would put Ice Spice well below Doja and Cardi. I think Meg accolades wise is on their level, but I think in terms of who people listen to women in hip hop, who are they actually looking for music from, who they're actually into, I don't think Meg is kind of like the artist who's like very popular. Yeah. But it's like, how many people do you know who are Meg? Like Russ. You know Russ sells out. Yeah. How much Russ fans do you know? That's true. You know, it's like we know Meg is always on the TV and the screen and whatever, but I don't see that going on where I'm from. So I just want to push back on that because I think Doja and Cardi are the real leaders.
Cardi not so much. Cardi. I think
You got Cardi so fucked up.
I don't think so.
Your Cardi so fucked up.
Cardi B.
You haven't spent enough time outside the building for no reason to understand Cardi. That's it. You haven't been on the stoop enough to understand Cardi.
Cardi B has one project.
I know.
She has one project.
But Cardi B is Cardi B. Like
one project, my guy. But her popularity is also outside of her music. Like I just think she's like a popular person that happens to make music versus being a musician that is popular.
Yeah, she's more of that. Cardi has a grip on the people that no female rapper has ever had.
She also like cares about politics. Like she drives political discourse.
That's meant for the sound bites.
Cardi B? I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Wait, why am I hearing political discourse from Cardi B?
I don't know if Cardi B cares about...
Why is she dropping...
Can Cardi B even vote? Like, that's what I'm saying. Can Cardi B even vote?
That's a great question.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Cardi B has not been to Canada, so I'm assuming she can't vote.
That's an interesting question. She cares about policy, allegedly.
Yeah, she can kill all she wants from the sidelines.
Allegedly cares about policy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Soundbites today, the part of the Album Mode podcast where we care the music, the culture, and the internet intertwine to create the music culture that we have today. This is Album Mode. Make sure you subscribe to us on the interwebs at Album Mode Pod on Instagram, at Album Mode Pod on Twitter, at Album Mode Pod on TikTok. We're Album Mode on YouTube, though. We secure that immediately.
One only.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers this year. And yeah, that's it for today. Oh, I want to say the Pitchfork thing very quickly. Pitchfork is one of the inspirations for this podcast.
Yes.
Right. The fact that it is, I want to say it's being folded into GQ, even though nobody knows what that actually means.
Yeah, dissolved. And then no one knows what that means.
Yeah, nobody knows what that actually means. So rest in peace, Pitchfork. Legendary publication has existed since like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Sad day.
It's one of the most influential publications in music history, I think.
Correct.
And it's, again, one of the inspirations for this. And pretty much anybody that's ever rated an album in the past 20 years has wanted to be a Pitchfork writer or something like that of some ilk. So to see it being just drained of its life force by capitalists.
Let's come back to this because we don't know. We don't know.
We don't. We allegedly, we'll say allegedly.
Dissolved.
Allegedly.
We don't, in what form they could rise like the phoenix. I'm being positive, man. I'm being positive, man. Listen, I'm just happy they're going to GQ, which I forget the name of their parent company, but GQ's parent company has been really successful. And so maybe that will help that Pitchfork may not have to focus on margins as much.
Right.
You know, so that maybe that'll be a plus and we'll still get great content.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just thinking, my question is, with Pitchfork, like, it's GQ's a men's magazine. So you're just like not gonna review women's work? That's my question. Like,
well, there's been women in GQ, but it's not as often.
Yeah. So what does that mean for literally anything that is women?
My guess is they're going to say the same. They're going to say the same but smaller and use the infrastructure of GQ because GQ is also a publication and that they just have that, in place there to take them to the next step. Okay.
Hopefully. We'll be watching. Again, thank you everybody for tuning into Soundbites. Adriel, make sure you know yourself and know your worth.
Later days.